Hey guys, Raymaster Flex here. Once again, I'm here with some more wrestling content after just watching Monday Night Raw. The Shield are together once again. The Shield has returned once again after watching a pretty decent match between Roman Reigns and Finn Balor, which looked like Finn Balor was going to have the upper hand for the Universal title. Braun Strowman comes out similar to what they did last night at SummerSlam, where Braun Strowman said he was going to cash in face to face. He comes out, looks like he's going to distract Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, Finn Balor's almost about to hit him with the coup de grace. Roman Reigns ducks out of it, hits him with the spear, and retains his belt. Um, I did a video on this last year when the Shield first reunited. If you guys take a look at that video I did back in October. And my only question to this is why? Why exactly are the Shield together again? I mean, I just did a video last week of Dean Ambrose's return, which happened to be the same night, the same day as the death of the legend Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So I kind of question why. Because, I mean, let's face it, the only reason they reformed the Shield last year was so that they could get Roman over, because they figured they got the Shield back together, they can get Roman over so that fans wouldn't still turn against them, and so that could lead to him winning the Universal title and actually getting cheered. And I mean, the Shield's return when they reunited last year, it was good while it lasted. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I kind of found it as a flop because at the end of the day, Dean got injured, and that's the reason why all this happened in the first place. Dean got hurt in December, and Seth went on. He won the tag team titles again with Jason Jordan because first he won it with Dean against Cesaro and Sheamus, an incredible match at SummerSlam, an even better match at No Mercy last year, and then dropped the belts to Sheamus and Cesaro on an episode of Raw right before Survivor Series. Won the titles back with Jason Jordan at the end of the year. Last episode of Raw, I believe it was Christmas Day actually. Yep. And then they dropped the belts to Sheamus and Cesaro earlier this year at the Royal Rumble. Seth went on to go in his singles run, have an incredible singles run, and which I believe it all started in that Gauntlet match right before the Elimination Chamber. That basically is what started the good booking of Seth Rollins from then till now. That is what started the non-stop good booking of Seth Rollins in constant matches. But I just question why. I mean, the whole purpose of the Shield reuniting last year was to get Roman over. So my question is this a way of turning Roman heel? Because I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people don't remember the Shield, for babyface. What got the Shield over were because they were heels. The Shield were heels coming into the main roster. They were not baby faces. They were heels. That's what people remember of the Shield. They were heels. And later on down the line, in like the spring of 2014, they turned babyface. But their most incredible and classic stuff all happened when they were heels. And that's what got Roman over, was the fact that he was a heel with them. But, to have them together now, and the fact that last year they were baby faces, and you know crazy match they had with against Kane, Braun, and Cesaro and Sheamus. Were they in the match? Yeah, I believe so. And then the Miz, and then the fact that Kane turns on Braun. I mean, it just went all over the place. But I mean, I know. And then Roman couldn't be in the match because he had the whatever virus was going on around the time. So Kurt Angle filled in for him and wore the Shields outfit. I mean, like I said, the return last year was a flop. I did a video of it last year when the Shield got back together. I was happy at the time, but I knew the reason they were only doing it was so they can get Roman over. But it's like now that Roman's Universal Champion, unless this is a way to turn Roman heel once and for all, then what exactly is the purpose? I mean, the way he talks on the mic, he's got the perfect persona to be a heel. And the way that Dean looks right now, the way that Dean looks coming back in his return, I made the video last week. He looks like a heel, And the only person that's super over right now, but they wouldn't even need a heel run again, is Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is super over as a babyface. But it wouldn't hurt for him to be a heel again. I mean, out of the three of them, Seth Rollins is the only guy to be a heel twice since being in the main roster. Since being, in the main roster, he was a heel when he debuted with the Shield, and he was heel again when he turned against the Shield. Um, and went solo and was the WWE champion. So Seth Rollins is no stranger to his heel work. He had some incredible matches back in 2015 when he was the WWE champion. So he's no stranger to being a heel. He played a heel from that point of when he turned against the Shield in June of 2014 all the way up until 2016. He was a heel. So Seth Rollins is no stranger to being a heel, and Dean Ambrose, with the type of attitude and with the type of character he has, he's a lot better suited as a heel because, I mean, he's a lunatic, and I mean, what lunatic do you know would be a babyface? Typically, you just think logically, he just would really work better as a heel. And especially with his look now, it's definitely heel look, like heel like. And like I said, the way Roman speaks on the mic, even though his promo skills, it is what it is, but the way he speaks and his attitude, the way he carries himself is heel like. So the question I have is if this is a way to turn Roman heel, because even though uh, he defeated Finn Balor clean, and it wasn't like the Shield came out to help him retain the belt. They came out right when Braun was going to cash in, and to me, in my opinion, that's like a heel like move because it's like Braun is kind of like a tweener. I mean, he's not a heel anymore per se, but then I wouldn't really say he's a babyface either. He's just super over with the crowd. That's all I'm gonna really say about him. He's not a heel, but he's not really a babyface. He's kind of in between. So for him to come out and look like he's gonna cash in the belt and the crowd's going crazy, then all of a sudden the music of the Shield hits, which shocked me because I'm just staring like, what? Like I'm just staring at the screen like, what? Like, is there a reason to this? Like, what's going on? So, because I mean, Seth Rollins was just accompanying Dean Ambrose early in the night when Dean had the incredible reversal. When Dolph tried to go for the DDT, he reversed it to the dirty knees. I love the way that match ended. So he just had on his regular outfit he's been wearing for the past 3 years uh, against Dolph Ziggler, and Seth was attacking Drew McIntyre at ringside. So, I didn't think that they were going to book it where the Shield music hits, and at the end of the night they come out and help Roman Reigns. Like I said, I don't know if they did this to try to, you know, I guess keep Roman getting cheered, even though that's not really going to keep him cheered because if you watch the Survivor Series, you would know that when they went against the New Day last year, there were fans still booing Roman Reigns, even though the Shield were back together. So that's not really the way to cure that. But uh, I just think that if they're going to do this, if they're going to have the Shield stop Braun Strowman from cashing in, this is kind of like a sign of a heel tactic. I mean, this is not something a babyface would do. So that's my question I have to them is this going to be what the fans finally want? Because like I said, Dean already has the look to be a heel, and Dean, in my opinion, is well better suited as a heel. The best babyface out of the three is Seth Rollins, hands down. I mean, he didn't start off so well last year when he had that feud with Triple H, even though I think that match wasn't a bad match, but a lot of people crapped on it. He didn't start off so well when he was solo last year. I think the thing that hurt him the most last year was his feud with Bray Wyatt. I think that feud was so forgettable that it really kind of made fans kind of lose interest in him. But when he decided to get back with Dean Ambrose, that kind of got his career back on track here. But Seth, I think Seth has had the better of the stick between the three of them, and I think, especially with how over he is now, with the incredible matches they booked him in this year, his sequence of matches with Dolph Ziggler, his match with Elias, which actually, in my opinion, I believe that match was my favorite one. I mean, his match last night at SummerSlam against Dolph Ziggler, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the match. But I just think there was something special about his match with Elias that just really stands out of all his IC title matches. But you know, Seth Rollins is like super over with the way they're booking him. So, but at the same time, he was also over when he was a heel, both with the Shield and solo. He was over both times as a heel. So it's like Seth Rollins, as over as he's already is, it wouldn't hurt for him to be a heel again. But it just makes me question. And of course, you know, uh, the WWE tends to do these things where they make it seem like they're going to turn someone heel, but then they don't actually do it. Let me just put it this way. Unlike John Cena, who's like 41 years old right now and is like a part timer who doesn't really show up that much anymore, Roman Reigns is still in his like mid 20s, early 30s. He has plenty of time to have plenty of heel and face turns. I don't get why they won't capitalize on it. If this is not a sign for Roman to turn heel, then what is? Because the whole purpose of the Shield were not for them to be baby faces. The whole purpose of the Shield was for them to be heels. The whole reason why the Shield were over in the first place were because they were heels. That's what people remember for them. That's what people remember them for. That's what I remember them for. I remember myself rooting against the Shield, wanting the Shield to lose because they had a little undefeated streak going on, in which their first loss came to Randy Orton, Kane, and Daniel Bryan at the time Team Hell No, which reunited, and then that ended up being a flop because whatever. But yeah, I remember myself. I was rooting against the Shield. I wanted the Shield to lose, but they never would. You know, the Shield. What got them over was they were heels. They were high heels. They had a great feud with the Wyatts. They were heels originally. But this whole babyface Shield thing to me makes no sense. If you're gonna get the Shield back together again, because they were just together last year, and like I said, last year when they were together, I think it was good while it lasted, but at the same time it flopped. And I think they kind of knew it was gonna flop because it all started when Roman got that virus that was going on last October. So he couldn't be in the Hell in a Cell. He couldn't participate in the TLC pay per view. So he missed out on that. And then Dean Ambrose got injured 2 months later in December on the episode of Raw in a six-man tag team match. So from there, you just kind of knew that it was just going to break down because after that, Seth teamed up with Jason Jordan. The fans hated Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan wins the tag team titles with Seth Rollins at the end of the year. They lose. They dropped the belts to the Royal Rumble. Jason Jordan is injured, actually not even kayfabe, but for real. That's why he hasn't been seen since. After that, they just put Seth Rollins solo again, and he's gotten his career back on track. I don't think Seth Rollins needs this to be with the Shield, quite frankly. For it to be back with him, especially with how his career has been going solo. But I'm just gonna say that uh, when you think about it, Dolph still has a rematch clause. Now, whether or not they're going to have him have the rematch is debatable because, I mean, they've already wrestled in two pay-per-view matches straight, and they've had two matches on Raw for the IC titles. So, what more can you do with the Dolph and Seth program? I mean, if they're going to they're going to put the Shield back together tonight. It just makes me question what the heck is going to happen with that feud. Are they just going to scrap it and just do something with the Shield, or what? Are they going to have all three of them just battling? I mean, it just makes me question what exactly direction they're going to go with that. I mean, again, that if they wanted to put an end to that, they could have just ended that tonight. If they knew that at the end of the night they were going to put the show back together. But there's a lot of unanswered questions I have with the way that they did this and with the direction that they went. Um, but like I said, if this is really the Shield getting back together, especially after uh, Roman was talking about being a fighting champion, defending the belt, and we just seen they protected Roman from getting the belt cashed in on him. which, like I said, is a heel like move. So when the Shield originally got together, I always thought Dean was the leader because he would be like the first person to speak all the time, and then Seth would speak. But turns out that wasn't the case. I mean, even though there wasn't an affirmative leader, technically you could say that the leader was actually Seth Rollins, even though the whole time I thought it was Dean, because Dean won the U.S. title while they were the tag team champions, and Dean would always be the one to start the promos off. But it was technically Seth Rollins, because what I didn't know, because of the fact that I don't have the WWE network, because once NXT moved to the WWE network, I have not been able to watch it since. But what I do now is I look at it on my PlayStation when it pops up on YouTube, and I'll look sometimes to see what's happening on there. But anyway, um, in NXT when he was NXT champion, they actually would help him retain the belt. Like they would just come out and accompany Seth Rollins. So he was like the creator of it, and which I didn't know until he said it after he turned against him in 2014. But a lot of people have been saying, when Dean Ambrose came back that he should turn against Seth. But like I said, if this was a way to have them heels, because again, the Shield's return flopped last year, and it could flop again this year if they're going to have it with their baby faces again. This could only work if they're just all three of them just going to be heels. And again, Seth is super over. He's kind of like how Randy Orton is, where at this point in his career, it doesn't matter if he's face or heel, he's going to get cheered. There are some guys who, as a baby face, they get booed like Roman Reigns, but if they build a lot of momentum as a heel, they're going to get cheered. And then there's some people who can be a babyface or a heel and still get cheered. Like I said, like Randy Orton. Randy Orton is at the point of his career where he could be either or and still get cheered. But his fan base is just that huge, where it does not matter what he is in this point in his career, uh, he'll still get cheered. But I think Seth Rollins is at that point too. I don't think Seth Rollins would attract a lot of heat. I mean, at least it's not as much as he did during his WWE Championship run in 2015. Even then, he was still getting pops. But I think now with the Shield back together, if they're going to turn them heel, because that's the only thing I can. That's the only way I could really see this working. Um, Seth, either way, he's going to get cheered. I just think that this is more needed for Roman of all people because he's like the only one that is gonna get booed to death as a babyface. I mean, not booed to death because he gets mixed reactions. Now they give him the John Cena reaction now, where like half the fans are cheering for him and half are booing him. He gets like mixed reactions, but I think as a heel, he'll probably get more cheers maybe, if depending on how they book him. That's what I said. So I'm just interested to see Monday Night Raw next week and see, what they do with this. Because if this is not a heel turn, then what's the purpose? I mean, last year when they got them back together, you saw what happened with that. It didn't last long. It didn't escalate very long. So if this is not a way to turn them heel, where it's a thing where, okay, Seth is the Intercontinental Champion, Roman is the Universal Champion, so the only person who's not holding the title is Dean. So I get, well, why don't we do a thing where Roman's the Universal Champion, so we're gonna come out and then protect him to retain the belt, or just attack any of his enemies or something. I mean, it would make logical sense in that aspect. You got two of the Shield already champions. The only person who's not champion is Dean because he just came back. So if all three of them were champions, I mean, that would just kind of make it seem like they're basically ruining, like they're dominating Monday Night Raw. So, like I said, I'm just really curious to know. I'm sure you guys have unanswered questions just like I have about this because I'm very curious. Like I did a video about this last year. We saw what happened. I'm doing it again. My reaction to the Shield's return again, except this time, I'm not as uppity as I was last year because I'm not even going to really go down with this unless this is a way to turn Roman heel because it only makes sense that way, especially with Dean coming back and looking already like a heel and his persona is better as a heel. it can only work if this is like some type of thing that's turning heel. Because I mean, my thing is, I wonder how they even going to start off next Monday Night Raw of them together. Are they going to come out, still talk like babyface? I mean, again, if that's the case, then I don't see the point in putting them back together. Because once again, the Shield did not get over as babyfaces. They were over because they were heels. They were over because they were badasses as heels. They were undefeated. They got defeated and were still dominant. That's why they were over, not because they were babyfaces. That's what we remember the Shield for. So that's all I gotta say for this video, guys. Again, very stunned. I think the match he had with Ben wasn't a bad match. You just kind of knew that Roman wasn't going to drop the belt, and it's a shame for Finn because at this point I don't see them giving him a title match anytime soon. So that's it for this, guys. I told you guys I would have a lot more wrestling content, especially now uh, with me doing less hangout videos. So definitely, make sure you subscribe, sign over to Master Flex, like, comment, subscribe. I was gonna do a preview, not a preview, but a review of SummerSlam, but I don't think I'll be doing that. If I can get enough support on this video, then I may do a SummerSlam review video during the weekend. We'll see where that goes, because I do want to kind of talk about how I felt about SummerSlam, looking at that. But it is what it is. So, sign over to Master Flex, like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys another day. Peace.